Have you ever wondered how it feels stepping into a territory where no one has ever been before? It's an exhilarating thought, isn't it? Now, imagine being Neil Armstrong. Born in the summer of 1930 in a small town in Ohio, Neil was just an ordinary boy with an extraordinary fascination for flight. From a young age, he was captivated by the vast expanse of the sky and the boundless possibilities it held. He would often gaze at the airplanes soaring high above, their trails painting patterns against the azure canvas of the sky. His dreams were filled with propellers, wings, and the thrill of defying gravity. At the tender age of 6, Neil experienced his first flight. It was a simple ride on a Ford trimotor, an aircraft known as the Tin Goose. But for young Neil, it was a moment of revelation. As the plane ascended, he felt a rush of exhilaration. The world below seemed to shrink, and he felt as if he was part of something much larger. This was not just a flight, it was a journey into the unknown, a leap into a world that he longed to explore. From that moment on, there was no looking back. Neil's fascination with flight turned into a passion. He started taking flying lessons at the age of 15, even before he could drive a car. His determination was unwavering, his resolve unshakable. He knew he was destined for something big, something extraordinary. Neil's journey was not just about reaching for the stars, it was about pushing boundaries and challenging the impossible. It was about a boy who dared to dream, a dream that would take him beyond the confines of the Earth, into the vast, unexplored territories of space. And so, as the world watched in awe, Neil Armstrong embarked on a journey that would change the course of history. But remember, this was only the beginning. This was only the beginning of a journey that would lead him to places unimaginable. You may think that flying a plane is a big deal, but what if the sky is not your limit? Imagine soaring above the clouds, feeling the pull of gravity beneath you, the world shrinking to a miniature model of itself. This was the reality for Neil Armstrong, who, before he was the first man on the moon, was a naval aviator, navigating the limitless skies. Armstrong's journey to the stars began on Earth, as a naval aviator in the Korean War. He flew 78 combat missions, braving the skies in the face of danger, his courage as vast as the horizon. But for Armstrong, this was just the beginning. The sky was not his limit, but rather his stepping stone. After his service, Armstrong traded his fighter jet for textbooks and lecture halls at Purdue University. His fascination with flight transcended the cockpit and found a home in the realm of aeronautical engineering. Just as an artist studies the principles of color and composition, Armstrong sought to understand the science behind his passion. He delved into the complexities of aerodynamics, the principles of propulsion, the mechanics of flight. He wasn't just a pilot, he was a scholar of the skies. He understood that to truly master flight, one must comprehend the science that makes it possible. Armstrong's pursuit of knowledge wasn't just academic, it was a quest, a thirst for understanding that would ultimately lead him to step foot on the lunar surface. His studies laid the groundwork for his career at NASA, where he would apply his expertise to the field of astronautics. And so, Neil Armstrong, a man who began his journey in the cockpit of a naval jet, found his path leading him beyond the sky, to the moon and back. From the war-torn skies of Korea to the lecture halls of Purdue University, Armstrong was not merely a passenger on the journey of flight. He was an active participant, a navigator, a pioneer. Armstrong was not just flying planes, he was mastering the science behind it. How about trading the comfort of the Earth's atmosphere for the challenging void of space? Now that's a proposition that would make most of us gulp, right? But for Neil Armstrong, it was an invitation he was more than willing to accept. In the early 1960s, Armstrong caught the attention of NASA, a fledgling organization with lofty ambitions. His background as a test pilot and his academic credentials in aeronautical engineering made him an ideal candidate for their astronaut program. Armstrong was among the second group of astronauts NASA selected, a group famously known as the New Nine. His first assignment, Gemini 8. This was no ordinary mission. The objective? To achieve the first successful docking of 2 vehicles in space. It was a critical step towards the eventual goal of landing a man on the moon. Armstrong, being the mission commander, was at the helm of this daring endeavor. Alongside him was astronaut David Scott. The mission started off smoothly, with Gemini 8 successfully launching into space and reaching its target, an unmanned spacecraft known as Agena. The docking, a first in human history, was successful. But the celebration was short-lived. Shortly after docking, Gemini 8 began to roll uncontrollably. A thruster had malfunctioned. The situation was dire. Undeterred, Armstrong showcased his exceptional piloting skills. He disengaged from the Agena, stabilized the spacecraft, and brought it back to Earth safely. Armstrong's cool demeanor and quick thinking turned a potential disaster into a successful mission. It was a testament to his character, his competence, and his courage. Despite the difficulties, Armstrong and his team had shown that docking in space was possible, paving the way for future missions. In the vast, challenging expanse of space, Armstrong had found a second home. He had made it to space, ridden its waves, and returned victorious. But this was just the beginning. Armstrong had made it to space, but his biggest achievement was yet to come. What would you say if you were the first human to set foot on an alien world? Imagine for a moment you're Neil Armstrong, the commander of the Apollo 11 mission. You're on a spacecraft hurtling through the void of space, surrounded by the infinite black, speckled with stars. Your destination? Our moon, a celestial body that has captivated humans for millennia, now just a few thousand miles away. Armstrong was more than just an astronaut. He was a pioneer, an explorer of the final frontier. His mission was one of immense importance and unimaginable risks, but it was a mission he accepted with a calm, steady determination. As commander, he was responsible not only for the success of the mission, but also for the lives of his crew members, Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. On July 20, 1969, the Apollo 11 lunar module, aptly named Eagle, descended towards the moon's surface. Armstrong, at the helm, navigated the module through a field of boulders to a safe landing spot. And then, the moment of truth. Armstrong descended the ladder of the Eagle, his heart pounding in his chest, the eyes of the world upon him. As he stepped onto the moon's surface, he uttered the now iconic phrase, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." In that moment, Armstrong wasn't just speaking for himself or even for his crew. He was speaking for all of humanity, acknowledging our shared accomplishment. We, as a species, had defied the odds and set foot on an alien world. Armstrong's words echoed around the world, a message of hope and triumph in a time of international tension and domestic strife. He reminded us that we are capable of great things when we work together, that boundaries and frontiers are merely challenges waiting to be overcome. That one small step was a giant leap for mankind. It was a testament to our tenacity, our curiosity, and our unyielding spirit of exploration. And it all started with one man, one mission, and one small step. Imagine coming back to Earth as a global hero. How would that change your life? Picture this. You've just returned from the moon, a place no human had ever set foot on before. You're Neil Armstrong, and you've just made history. But what happens next? After the moon landing, Armstrong's life changed dramatically. He was hailed as a hero, a pioneer, a trailblazer. He had reached the moon, something that had seemed impossible just a decade earlier. But how do you follow an act like that? Armed with the knowledge that he had achieved something monumental, Armstrong made a surprising decision. He chose to stop flying. Yes, you heard that right. The man who had journeyed to the moon decided to hang up his astronaut boots. It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? But for Armstrong, this decision made perfect sense. He had reached the pinnacle of space exploration. He had achieved his dream. What more was there to chase? Instead of continuing his career as an astronaut, Armstrong decided to share his knowledge and experience with the next generation. He took on a new role, this time not in the cockpit of a spacecraft, but in the halls of academia. He became a professor of aerospace engineering at the University of Cincinnati. For nearly a decade, he shaped the minds of budding engineers, imparting his wisdom and inspiring a new generation of space enthusiasts. In this way, Armstrong continued to contribute to the field of space exploration long after his historic moon landing. His decision to stop flying didn't mean he stopped dreaming or inspiring others to dream. Instead, it allowed him to pass on his passion for space to countless students, ensuring that the spirit of exploration he embodied lived on. Armstrong may have left the moon, but his legacy continues to inspire us. His journey may have ended, but his influence is still felt today. He showed us that the sky is not the limit, that we can reach for the stars and beyond. And for that, we will always remember him. How does one man's step on the moon continue to influence us today? This is a question that echoes through the corridors of time, binding us to that singular moment when Neil Armstrong first set foot on the lunar surface. Armstrong's legacy is a tapestry woven from threads of human curiosity, courage, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. He was an astronaut, yes, but he was also a pioneer, a pathfinder, the first human to tread on an alien world. His footprints on the lunar dust are a testament of our species' indomitable spirit, our thirst for exploration, and our unyielding desire to reach out to the unknown. This legacy continues to inspire us today. It fuels the engines of innovation, propelling us further into the cosmos. We see it in the Mars rovers, tirelessly exploring the red planet's surface. We see it in the telescopes peering into the farthest reaches of our universe, unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos one star at a time. We see it in the ambitious projects that aim to bring humans to Mars, to once again push the boundaries of our reach. Armstrong's legacy is not just about the continuation of space exploration, but it's also about inspiration. His journey to the moon, his courage, and his humility continue to inspire millions around the world. He has shown us that with determination and courage, we can overcome insurmountable odds. His words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," continue to resonate, reminding us of our potential and our responsibility to explore, learn, and grow. He also paved the way for future generations to dream big, to look up at the stars and see not just points of light, but destinations, challenges, opportunities. His legacy encourages us to question, to wonder, to strive for the impossible. Neil Armstrong, a man who truly showed us that the sky is not the limit. His legacy lives on, inspiring us to reach for the stars, to dream big, and to never stop exploring. From a young boy fascinated with flight, to the first man to walk on the moon, Neil Armstrong's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. He was a man of few words, yet his actions spoke volumes. He began as an aviator, honing his skills in the skies. His expertise caught the attention of NASA, propelling him into a world beyond our atmosphere. Armstrong didn't just venture into the unknown, he paved the way for future space exploration. His first step on the lunar surface wasn't just a step for mankind, it was a leap for our collective dreams, ambitions, and our understanding of what we, as a species, are capable of achieving. His legacy shines brightly in the field of space exploration, inspiring generations to reach for the stars. His footsteps on the moon serve as a constant reminder of our potential. Neil Armstrong, a testament to human courage and curiosity, reminding us that every giant leap begins with one small step.